Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, June 11th, 2016. My name is Rich, and with me once again this week is my co-host, Bijan. How are you making out?
Doing good, man. What's up?
Doing good. Actually, I'm a little self-conscious of the opening now. I forgot to mention this to you. So, the other night, I tweeted out that I was in an argument with my wife about my accent or lack of accent, and Cameron pointed out that, you know, how you making out isn't a thing everywhere. Like, did that strike you as odd the first time I said that?
How you make it out? What do you mean?
Yeah, is that a Canadian expression? Like, she had never heard, it just seemed odd to her.
Bruh, no idea. We're all just chilling over here. Like, who cares, you know? Just be yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start using as many...
Just say about.
About?
Oh, say... You can say it, right?
I don't say about. I say about.
Boot.
Anyway, so...
Let's get on with
Let's
this.
get on with
What
it.
are we talking about?
We're all over the place, so don't worry about it. So we got lots to cover. Once again this week, lots of cool stuff. We had the Atlanta Qualifier, which is awesome. Did you like the show?
Yeah, I liked it. I can't say it was good as last week, but that's really, that's almost not fair, right? Because last week was so strong of an episode. This level for me was pretty middle ground, but I really enjoyed some very big aspects of the show. My big problem, I guess, if I had to have one knock on it, some of the stories or vignettes, the editing was fine. It's just they weren't as engaging to me. Maybe that's a personal preference. How did you feel, man?
Yeah, I wasn't pulled in quite as much. There were a lot of new people, which were really great, actually really good people, so I had no complaints about them. But yeah, it somehow didn't pull me in quite as much. I think they intentionally showed them in a different order than they were filmed, which I didn't notice until just a little bit ago, because they were filmed kind of in the reverse order, right? Atlanta actually was filmed first. So I think they went with the LA one because it is a little stronger. They've got some of the bigger, well... Do you want to say bigger names? Not really. Something about it was just a little better. Maybe it was the course was a little better.
Yeah. The course, I think, was stronger just because they had, I think, two very strong obstacles in that episode. Whereas this episode, I feel like there's one really strong obstacle. It may be like an all-right obstacle with the cylinders. I don't consider those like ninja killers anymore, but I think those are really good at weeding out, the strong from the weak.
Yeah, I did like the pipe fitter, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in more detail because we'll be having... we'll do the review, of course, of the episode, but we also got the crashing the course. We're going to cover that one again because we've got the pipe fitter this time and the 24 before. That is a look with Neil Craver in the 24 hours leading up to his run. We've got a Ninja Quickie with Drew Dreschel and Evan Dollard. And we've got a little challenge for you guys, so let's get right into it. I think everybody's kind of waiting to hear what happened on this week's episode.
Yeah. Well, just overall, for the course itself, I will say that I like the course, but there were some obstacles that kind of disappointed me. My big one was the dice obstacle. It looked so cool, man. I was really looking forward to it, but it just really didn't have much of an impact.
Yeah. It seemed to have more potential than it showed. Maybe it took out a lot of people that we didn't get to see. It looked like an ankle breaker, kind of. Like it looked like if it went wrong, it could go really wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, it was kind of most of those obstacles actually weren't that new, come to think of it. When we look at it, we had the floating steps, of course, the Big Dipper, which we've seen, block run, that's the dice obstacle, spin cycle, which we've seen, and then pipe fitter. Really, pipe fitter was the only really interesting one, like you said, and I really liked it, though.
Yeah. I think the big thing was that this particular course, all the obstacles were about moderate difficulty, and the pipe fitter was a little bit more of an elevated difficulty, to the point where it really showed when I believe they had about 27 finishers this particular episode, which you really didn't get a feel for towards the end of the episode. I feel like they might have skipped a lot, but that's par for the course. But yeah, I think this course, like American Ninja Warrior, I think becomes really exciting when you have a particular course that's really, really daunting. And as long as it's not cheap with that damn hourglass drop, which I really hate, and I hope they don't bring it back, I think it can be really fun.
Yeah, well said. I think that's the key, right? We need, as much as we like seeing them succeed, we do need like that sweet spot of a good number of failures too, where you want to see it challenging. And I don't think we quite had it for this one.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, they really greatly amp up the difficulty in the finals.
Yeah, so taking a look at the first guy that ran the course, we had Danny Gallagher. He's an app developer. And he started struggling on the steps right away, and actually I wasn't sure he was going to make it off of those. But he did, and then he makes a one-handed catch on the Big Dipper. And he was just sloppy the whole way through, but it was entertaining for sure, and he was still making it. Like, even though it wasn't the smoothest pace and the smoothest run, he was making it through. So good on him.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself, man. This guy was a hot mess in terms of technique, right? But he just willed his way through a lot of these obstacles. I was rooting for him. Sometimes it's really fun to just see a guy just stumble through all this stuff.
Yeah, just like making through on determination and nothing else, basically. He ended up going out on the pipe fitter, but he did a pretty good job, really, overall, to make it that far. So the next person to take the course was actually Michelle Velez, who was a single mom. She works at Michelin, and she was a pole vaulter, which is always a good sign because the women pole vaulters do awesome on this thing. Mm-hmm. And, oh my God, I let out a big gasp when she went in, because she went right into the water on the Big Dipper. She just went straight in, almost like she was intending to just dive in.
Yeah, she hit really hard, but I really liked or appreciated the fact of seeing her run, just because it really established the Big Dipper as something that you want to keep an eye out for. Big Dipper wasn't necessarily much of a transition obstacle as we thought. It was more of an obstacle people really have to be careful about, and I appreciated that. Yeah,
it showed how you have to kind of appreciate the grip strength that it takes to hold on as it comes down and ramps back up, right? It actually does test your grip. It's not just a matter of being able to lâcher over to the cargo net.
Yeah, and man, we saw some really close calls with some really strong competitors too. So we'll bring that up later. But the Big Dipper, man, that was it definitely earned its keep.
Yep. And the next guy that runs is Booty Cothran, who was one of my favorite runs of the night.
Booty,
the Booty bandwagon. 5'5", 110 pounds, soaking wet. This guy is tiny.
Man, he was so incredibly skinny.
But he was so entertaining. I loved it. I loved watching him go through. I thought he was going to go all the way through. He looks like he's decently strong, and obviously, the strength to weight ratio has got to be off the charts for this guy. Mm-hmm. But he got hung up on that pipe fitter. Man, that thing looked tough. Really, really tough.
Yeah, he really impressed me, actually, quite a bit, because, I don't know, maybe it's my own preconceptions, but I wasn't expecting him to go incredibly far, and maybe that's just a knock on me, but he really impressed me, and, man, I was rooting for him, especially when you got to that pipe obstacle, right? Pipe fitter. Yeah, boy, I was wanting him to do so well, and I was expecting him to actually do quite well in that obstacle, because that's an obstacle that fits more of somebody that's kind of smaller in weight, right?
Yeah, but we didn't really know what to expect. We haven't seen anybody do it really in the past, so it was a little tricky, because you're like, well, it's all theory. We haven't seen them develop the strategies. We're not sure. He's going backwards. They were kind of questioning that, and I thought, well, I don't know, is backwards a bad thing, or is it a good thing? We don't even know yet.
Backwards is definitely a bad thing. That's one thing I think we learned.
We did learn that by the end of the episode, but at that point, we had no idea.
Yeah.
But Booty did pretty well. I really enjoyed his run. I hope we see him back again.
Yeah, I love how he's got, the whole Booty name and all that. That's awesome.
Yeah, really engaging, a really great... I know he's a real person, but a great character. He has a lot of personality. He's very memorable. He's just somebody you want to see come back.
Rich, if you have a son, you got to name him Booty.
Booty, yeah. Definitely not a girl, but a boy, maybe we'll have to name him Booty. The next one we had was Ralph Cordero, the Colossal Ninja. Oh my God, I love this guy.
This guy was awesome, man. I loved it.
I think his shirt said "Break the Mold," if I remember.
Dude, he was about to break everything. He was like rampaging through this damn course. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. 225 pounds. And he ended up going out on the pipe slider because, oh my God, how are you supposed to hang on with 225 pounds coming down that thing?
Yeah, I don't blame him. But it was really cool seeing his training because, like, he was doing stuff like the spider climb and stuff, like, and with that much weight and size, props to that guy, man. He must have, like thighs the size of tree trunks.
Props on him, man. Like, to be able to do that at that size, I really appreciate that as a bigger guy myself, so...
Yeah, I hope we see him back next year, right? Because I feel like he can actually kind of represent some of the bigger guys. And I don't necessarily mean fat, but just like a thicker, bigger guy actually doing this stuff that really adheres to like smaller, like young, I guess, like viral athletes, right?
Yeah, there's actually a couple on this episode, and I've seen a few others online and on Instagram and stuff. So I'm really excited to see what they can do, to see the bigger guys being able to do that, and just kind of, like you said, kind of breaking the mold.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's another guy that is one of my probably my favorite new athlete from this particular episode. We'll talk about him later, but he's also big.
Yeah, and the next guy, although not big, has a very big name, Stephen Brickhouse, which is a fantastic name.
Love it.
He's a baggage handler. His dad was paralyzed. They really focused on that a lot.
Yeah, this was one of the stories I actually kind of liked.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really engaging. He ended up falling on the block run. He was just going too slow, which was a little strange because I think they said he was a sprinter.
Yeah, the thing about the blocks is you can't, and I feel like most people should know this at this point, right? Is that you just can't put too much weight on one side or the other. You have to stay in the middle and be as light as possible on your feet. I lose my damn mind when I see people shifting their weight too much to one side on these obstacles, because it's almost common knowledge to most athletes. He must have, like, maybe he just didn't talk to anybody there, or maybe he just overlooked this obstacle, but it's really one of the really small niche things where it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, it may be one of those things where it looks a lot easier than it is, right? He may have been hitting it.
Well, all the obstacles are definitely harder than they look, but I feel like the way of going about doing this obstacle is almost, there's only one true particular way of doing it. And when you don't do it, it's kind of like, what were you thinking? What would you expect to happen?
Yeah, his foot was a little far to the outside, which is going to make it spin pretty fast. So
quite far.
Yeah. But moving on, we had Erica Cook, who was great to see. We get to see her again. She was on Team Ninja Warrior, part of the Real Life Beasts. I forgot, or I didn't know, she's only 5 feet tall as well. She's the same height as Casey.
Yeah, she's small, but she is definitely like stronger, and I don't mean that in like a rude way, like, muscular arm strength wise. You can just see it. And she holds her strength well, so I don't think you see it as much. Whereas Casey's a lot leaner, right? Erica Cook, like everybody knows from my coverage of TNW that I really am really high up on her, and I truly think she can go really far on this show. Yeah, she still impressed me, man. I still really liked what I saw from her. That particular obstacle, the cylinders, spin cycles, sorry, that's just one of those obstacles where you're going to have a really hard time if you don't have that wingspan.
Yeah, so unfortunately her swing was a little off, and she ended up going out there, but it was still a pretty good run, and she definitely looks solid. Like, I agree with you. I think she can go a lot further than we saw here. I think she is a pretty good candidate for a Vegas wildcard spot, and we'll see what she can do.
Yeah, I would say I agree. It's just there's so many strong women this particular year. I'm really interested to see what other female athletes we see, but I will say this. I think we're going to see a lot of female wildcards, and unlike last year, I don't think we're going to have too many complaints from, like online and everything. I think a lot of people are going to be okay with what they see from the wildcards.
Well, and not having the military qualifiers frees up a lot more wild cards, so I think that'll make it a little bit easier on everyone too.
Yeah. But aren't they doing something like a college episode this year?
Yeah, that's right. They are doing a college episode, and we don't have the information together for it.
No worries, but I'm actually really looking forward to that because that's going to have... I think you're going to see a lot of just out-of-the-blue super athletes from college, just, really in-shape people just gutting through these episodes, and I think that's going to be really fun. I think you're going to see some spectacular failures and some spectacular runs and surprises. That's exciting, man.
I guess, to be honest, I'm not so sure that the college thing's going to happen. They've done this before where they aren't giving any time. It's this weird thing where they put out the college edition, the call for applications, and they give you a week, right? Like by the time this episode comes out, that's it. You can't apply, unfortunately, because the deadline will be this Friday.
Man,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so there's no time, and the graphic they're sending out and everything, it does with a Gmail account on it, doesn't look legit. It looks like a total scam, but it is legit. It's just the strangest thing. I don't know why it's being promoted this way and why it's such a second thought that they're just like, oh yeah, maybe we'll do a college edition, give them a week, see who applies. And of course they're not going to get a lot of response in that amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, if they film it on a university campus, which is my best guess that they'll do, they might get just a lot of local athletes and athletic people from and students from that particular area, and then maybe they'll just get a few people that fly in or travel in from other campuses with that, and maybe that's why they don't really care as much about sending the flyers, because maybe they're just looking at the local campus.
Oh, and just to be clear, they did do this before, right? Back in the fall, they were doing the exact same thing. They sent out a similar ad and everything, and it just didn't happen. They just didn't get enough interest. So it's just weird that they did it again.
Boy, I hope they get enough interest this time. If not, man, if you're listening, A&W people, go out to San Diego State. Go Aztecs. Let's do it.
The next person we had running the course was Casey Tsuhaki. She lives with her granddad. Wait a second. That's a guy.
Are you talking about the dude?
Yeah, it's a dude.
I'm like, are we saying the same person?
Because I had it spelled out phonetically. I had Sue Hockey, so I was thinking it was a girl.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a dude.
Yeah, okay, sorry, Casey. Casey lives with his granddad. He's a walk-on. Which the fact that they were showing a walk-on in the middle of it kind of told me that he must have did pretty well. He had great technique on the pipe fitter. The monkey climb that he did was fantastic.
Yeah, the whole time, it's weird. Traditionally, I want all the athletes to go fast and everything, but I love seeing his grandfather. It was his grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing his grandfather on the side, so happy and rooting for him, but his poor grandfather was going so slow trying to keep up with him from obstacle to obstacle, where I was just hoping he'd go as slow as possible for his grandfather to catch up to him. If anybody's watching, watch his grandfather in background. He's like just inching his way past every obstacle, like a few minutes after Casey does it. It's really fun. But I'm so glad his grandfather got to see it. And yeah, I really like that relationship or the bond that he has with his grandpa. It's really cool, man.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. So great job, Casey. Really enjoyed watching your run. We'll see how he does in the finals. The next guy was Rodolfo Burgos, dentist, Cuban, father of 3. I noted he works with special needs patients, which was really cool. Really appreciate that. Having a special needs brother of my own. He's very long and lean. He was slipping on the wall.
His shoes gave out like crazy on that warped wall, man.
Yeah, he was just not really ready for the wall because he doesn't have it in his backyard. Kind of the classic problem, right? Where they just don't have that one particular obstacle and they just don't know the proper technique to get it done. Yeah,
and how tall was he? He looked really tall and his shoes were gigantic, man.
Yeah, I didn't note his height, but he definitely, I noted that he was long and lean, but I don't know if they actually said his exact height.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the whole shoe thing because I feel like his shoes were more of the detriment rather than his technique. But I could be wrong. Maybe he just decided to slide through. But yeah, he definitely was having some trouble with the traction on that particular last obstacle.
Yeah, I noted that too. Like, I did think that it was his shoes that were slipping. It wasn't necessarily where he was planting his feet. So I'm glad it wasn't the only one that saw that.
Oh, by the way, shout out to his daughters wearing Spartan Race finisher shirts. You know, there were like 3 or 4 instances where you see people wearing Spartan finisher shirts or clearly doing the Spartan Race, and it's clear that the show's now like affiliated with the Spartan Race show. Why can't they say Spartan Race? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't know. It's really weird. Like, it's like this half. I mean, they advertise it again. We saw the commercials, which it does look very, very cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like, advertise it on the show, right? Like, get people interested. Show that, like, the Spartan Race is, like, a really big thing that is really huge, especially in the obstacle course community. And it's not easy to do. And a lot of people that do the show do the Spartan Race as well. You know, there's some cohesion involved. I feel like that'll make it so much easier and natural for people to just switch over from one show to the other. It's just really crazy to me that they didn't do that. But who knows, man?
I think they're maybe all saving it because the one time they do mention it is for Rose Weschel. Did I get that right? Why do I feel like I didn't get her name right?
Rose Wetzel.
Yeah.
Wetzel. Whatever. I can't. Yes. I'm just as bad.
Yeah. She, every time she's on, they definitely make a point of associating her with it. So maybe they're just saving it all up for her.
I guess. Well, she's another level, so I can understand that.
But we don't have long to wait for that, too.
No, and I'm ready.
But we found out the other day it's a preview, so what does that even mean? How much are we going to get in this preview?
Yeah, that's really weird. I'm really curious to see. Like, I have to imagine it's maybe like half the length of a regular episode, but I still don't really know how every episode's going to be filmed. So I can't really. I'm completely in the dark with how that's going to go. But I think we're all going to find out together, and I think it'll be fun for us to cover. And boy, do I have some fun stories about some obstacles that they're particularly running on that show. I did them in person, and I have some crazy stories for you guys.
Nice. It'll be nice to get that perspective. So we'll definitely be covering it. We'll separate out the episodes in case anyone's not watching one show or the other. They won't have to listen to it. So keep an eye out. We'll have special Spartan Race episodes coming up. And we are all over the place, man. We're like cutting back and forth.
Dude, this is a hot mess. But
Whatever. Everybody, please bear with us. We're going now next to Mike Chick, who is a lawyer. He does magic. Friend of Jeff's, Jeff Britton's, and he made it through. That was really cool.
Yeah.
He had a great personality. He was very engaging.
He had a great personality, but I gotta say, man, I really did not like the video they had, and I don't blame him. I really blame the producers on this one. That whole like tonal shift. I understand that was supposed to go one way, but it really, for me, it made me not like, I guess, appreciate his skill as much. I was expecting him to fail like the second obstacle, to be completely honest with you, man. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I really hope that rather than kind of just showing him as like a goofy joke in many ways, just being like, hey, he's a fun guy, kind of like Neil Craver, but he does all this cool stuff, and I think that was what they're going for, but I don't really think it actually worked in his vignette video. It really came off when he actually ran the course, so this guy is legit.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely had skills. He made it all the way through. No questioning that. I actually liked when he dipped his wife at the end. I thought that was really cute.
Dude, I love that. That was cool, man. And talk about, like, strength of your... Like, you have to have really good hip strength and just, like, core strength to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which he obviously did. Even after running the course, he still had lots left, so...
Yeah. But I really like that he trains with Jeff Britton and all this other stuff. Like, I think this is a guy that actually is deceptively going to go a lot farther than we probably expect. And yeah, man, I was sleeping on him going in, but I'm definitely got my scouts out on him now.
And the next guy we had was Ronald Washington. He works with Fish and Wildlife. They were calling him Dynamite. And he just had one of those unfortunate ones where he just, a small error, right? He ended up touching the water on the spin cycle, and it put him out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say about that one. It was just like a small mistake,
Yeah, not much you can do about it. It's we didn't see as many of these so far this season where, just that the incidental touches, I guess, that that really kind of hurt. I guess it was a little bigger than that, but it wasn't much bigger. So the next person was Spencer Wyckoff. He's the big brother. Oh, this is another one of those Spartan
This was
ones.
Yeah, this was a really, I actually really appreciated this story. I feel like this might be the controversial one where people might be like, oh, it was too long and sappy, but I actually kind of appreciated this story because even though it was long, he continued to impress me by just how committed he was to helping his sister and the stuff that he did with his sister. I mean, he completed a full Spartan race with his sister on his back. That is freaking insane, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I shouldn't even admit this, but did you half expect him to have her on his back when he was running the course? Like, did you think that was a possibility?
I didn't, but that'd be amazing.
I actually kind of, when they cut back, I thought, wait, he's not going to have her on. Like, it was a crazy thought.
Like straight up Yoda and Luke or something?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that would have been amazing. I mean, it would be too dangerous, unfortunately. But if he could do that, if he could even make it partway through, like even just over the first part, I think that would have been really, really cool to see.
Yeah, I don't think that would work with her particular illness, but that would definitely be something. This guy is huge, by the way. Like, what was he, 6'7" or something like
that? Possibly.
I think they said 6'7". This guy was gigantic to the point where when he went to the pipe slider, like he was standing over the pipe. Did you notice that? Like his head was over the pipe, ready to like duck down into the particular obstacle.
Nice.
I was really worried for him for almost pretty much all the obstacles because that's got to have a lot of body weight that he's got to hold up. But he really impressed me, and boy, do I hope we see him again. Next time they show him, I hope they don't play up the story too much, since we got it this season. But I think he can definitely be a favorite.
Yeah, it takes some kind of strength to be able to do that, to run Spartan with somebody on your back. But yeah, he fell in the...
You can see that again.
He fell in the pipe fitter transition, so unfortunately he doesn't move on. But yeah, really good job, and we'll see what he does next year. And then after kind of a lot of people that we hadn't seen before, other than Erica Cook, we end up with Neil Craver finally. And he was back to training with fire again. The guy is a little off. Although watching we'll get to it a little in more detail later, but watching his 24 before, he seems like he's playing to that a lot, right? For his videos and everything, right? Obviously, he's not quite as off.
Well, yeah. I think everybody does that, right?
Yeah, I think he just has a particular knack for it.
Hey, it works for him, man. And this guy must have like 0% body fat. Like, geez, this guy is just completely cut. Really impressed with how he runs, and that video that he sent to them, that might be the best one of the season, right?
We'll see. It was really, really entertaining. And he ended up doing the course really fast, which we kind of expected. A minute 30. It took less than 10 seconds on the spin cycle, one that trips a lot of people up. He just like zoomed right through it.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because that's a really hard obstacle to like perfect.
Yeah, but he did it, and he's just kind of proving our faith in him. We've talked about him a lot of times because we really enjoy watching him, really appreciate the skill that he's got, and can't wait to see how he does.
Oh, yeah.
And let's poke the bear with Bijan in this one, because next we had a couple of veterans get fast-forwarded. We had Jonathan Ruiz and Travis Rosen actually get fast-forwarded.
I don't know what to say, man. I mean, I understand it. I do, because, we want new people. But why Travis Rosen? Come on.
Yeah, I'm hoping that just means... I think the qualifier a lot of times is just about showing new people, right? Giving them an opportunity to get some limelight. And really the city finals is where you'll see veterans like Travis kind of shine, and they'll get a more of a spotlight on them. Hopefully, anyway.
No, I completely agree. And I understand it. It just still sucks. It really sucks as a fan. But I understand, and I'm sure everybody else listening at home understands as well. It just really... I don't know, man. It still sucks seeing somebody like Travis Rosen. You're like, why did they skip him of all people? But hey, it wasn't Drew Dressel, right? So who am I to complain? So
yeah, at least they didn't do Drew this time. And Sean Murray went out on the Big Dipper. Actually, that kind of surprised me too. I made note of that. Mm-hmm. He's done pretty well in the past. So then one of the ones we've been waiting for, I know you want to talk about.
Yes.
We had Mac Rush. a construction worker, the king of obstacles with his less than shiny crown there.
Oh, the crown was awesome.
Like,
he's the son of oh my god, the wrestler from Demolition. I have to look up the guy's name, dude. Like, that tag team was my childhood. And any millennials out there, y'all know what's up when it comes to that. This guy was awesome. He's just like his father, just craziness, straight up, just adrenaline, just all around. This guy was so fun.
Yeah, 6'1", 220 pounds, another big guy. I love that he put a headlock on the pipe fitter, basically.
Doing the wrestling moves. It's in the family,
yeah,
man.
I guess it's in the genes. But he made it all the way, and he still had the crown on at the end. Like, what a great job.
How crazy was that? I honestly, I was so, like, enjoying this guy, but I was like, man, he's going to have a real hard time with the spin cycle and the pipe fitter. But he did it, dude. I was so impressed. Like, a guy that size, that actually, like, really, it's almost like a reverse Casey Catanzaro. And I'm not trying to put it on that pedestal, really, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, size and what you expect from the course, that guy really shocked me. Boy, did I love this guy. I hope he goes far.
Yeah, it's an interesting note. So it is kind of like a reverse Casey, where Casey, part of the amazing part of her run in the city finals was the fact that she was her height, right? They reference it all the time.
She was too small, all around. She's just really tiny.
But this guy is so big, it would make the whole thing so much harder. Like, it's really, really interesting that he made it through, and really can't wait to see how he does.
Yeah, not just that, 2 obstacles where it really tests your upper body, Really cool, man. I loved it.
And then we had a couple more veterans get fast-forwarded. We had JoJo Bynum and the Brazzy Bros get fast-forwarded. They all made it through, all 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, these people I can understand more than Travis Rosen. With that said, they're definitely the types where I would like I'll see them in the finals.
Yeah. And the next one actually really it's funny. Josh Phillips was next, and he's one of those names that I probably wouldn't have known if it wasn't for. Actually, I definitely would have known if it wasn't for Twitter. But I see his name all the time. He is so active, so supportive. So it was really great to see him running the course, and I was really rooting for him. It says they said he was a workaholic, 90 to 100 hours a week.
That is crazy.
That's a pretty intense schedule. You and I complain about our schedules, but again, nothing on that.
No, I have nothing close to that.
And now he's the family ninja. He ended up falling on the pipe fitter, which got me. I thought for sure he was going to make it through.
Yeah, they were really building him up. I thought he'd be somebody that we see go far. I feel bad for him, but you can definitely tell by how his workout is and just his whole family dynamic and everything. I think we're going to see him seasons to come. And man, what a cool story, right? Like such a workaholic, and then commits to his family after a while. I loved it.
Yeah, me too. So Josh, if you're listening, great job, and we definitely want to see you run the course again.
Yeah, teach your family and friends how to spell Family Ninja, though, because they're having some trouble with that.
Yeah, that was funny.
I don't know what's going on with that. I'm like, somebody's messed it up. I'm sure they're getting quite a few laughs at home rewatching this episode, though.
Yeah, probably. I would never let my family live that down. Next was Brittany Reed, our third and final female run of the night, which was kind of odd. I kind of expected more. We've had quite a few shown before, I think, or it seemed like there were.
Yeah, just 3. That's a really low number, man.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to be. She's a model and an insurance agent. 5'9", a very, very tall lady.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely one thing I want to say is I really appreciate how they did her particular vignette video because they showed her and they played up the fact that it's just obvious just looking at her. She's a beautiful woman, right? And they kind of show her the bad girl with the bike. I didn't really care for that because I'm like, oh, that's so cliche.
Yeah, I think.
But then they go. right? Like, I was just like, come on. Like, really, you're going to go there? And I was expecting just, like, her to play that. I'm like, oh, I'm a bad girl. I'm on a bike. But they actually went a different route, which I really appreciated, where she's like, no, what I do is I'm a really strong woman, and I do all this, like, fitness training, and you just see her doing some really cool athletic feats, and that's what I really respected about her, is that she really went a different route. And, yeah, she plays up the fitness model route, or, role, right? But that's her role, and I appreciated the fact that when it was all said and done, she didn't fall on like the first obstacle, and it's like, oh, I'm just here, I'm the pretty girl, you're here to show me. She did amazingly well, man. I actually think that she's one of the top female athletes that we need to look out for. She thoroughly impressed me. And not just that, the way her body is, where she is so tall, she has such a great wingspan. I really think that she can kind of fill in maybe another dynamic, kind of like a Jessie Graff, where she kind of has a similar body build, where, dude, she can really impress with some of these upper body obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, really, they noted there was only 2 women that got past the Big Dipper, which is why I think we didn't see more of them. They were failing really early in the course. So the Big Dipper is like a lady ninja killer, apparently.
Yeah, but you know what? I can't complain. There was no trampolines. If they failed, it's more based on, their technique and not something cheap like a damn trampoline spring.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not really height dependent, so it's a little strange. I wonder what the deal is there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just like, I don't think many ninja gyms have a obstacle like the pipe slider to trade on.
Yeah, maybe that's it. She's the only woman to get past the spin cycle. So she went out in the pipe fitter, which she was really strong up to then. So yeah, she definitely did awesome. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and she, more than anybody else, in particular, I think we're definitely going to see as a wild card. And I'm completely fine with that. She's got a great story, a great look, obviously, and just really good physically. She's so good. I really am expecting a lot from her. I'm really happy that she was on the show.
Yeah, I liked her personality too. Like she got excited when she was completing the obstacle. She definitely seemed to be passionate about it. So yeah, she
was passionate and humble, man. Right? Like she's not like, oh, I'm like just what you'd expect. Like kind of like somebody that would that's down on any of the pretty girls. Like you have these preconceived notions, and she completely is the opposite of that. And that's what I really expect of her.
And moving on, we had Kenneth Nimatalo. They noted his daughter has kidney problems. Lived in a hospital for 11 months, which is a long time to be in the hospital.
Those hospital bills. Oof.
Oh, let's not even go there, but I can't even imagine coming out of all of that and having hospital bills on top of it.
Yeah. But his daughter was so cute, man. Oh my God. I loved that. Just that family in general. I loved it. And yeah, I was rooting for him all the way.
Yeah. So he was training there, which was interesting to see how he was able to incorporate his training with being stuck at the hospital all the time. Another training partner of Jeff. Is Jeff like running like his own unofficial ninja gym at this point and getting everybody through the show?
Yeah, is he like a trainer at a gym that we just don't know or something?
I think so. He made a really nice move on the transition on the pipe fitter. Like he grabbed it with his legs, pulled it over, and made a big swing backwards to grab the next one. I thought that was a really nice move.
Oh yeah, he did a great job. I really like the 180 that he kind of does in between the transitions of the pipe fitter. He all around, you can definitely tell that he trains a lot of obstacles. He has a really good body awareness, and he's another one. I think we're going to see him at least go to stage 2 this year.
Ooh, that's a pretty big prediction. We'll see.
That's right, man. I make those bold predictions.
You have him on your ANW fantasy league
next year. I didn't even know about this guy, but yeah. I was impressed by how well he adjusted to particular predicaments on obstacles, especially with that transition where he started out in a bad position with a pipe slider and readjusted on the fly. Those are the things that impresses me, because those are the things that really make a good Ninja Warrior stand out from somebody that's just technically proficient in a way.
Yeah, I know you really love the technique, right? The more efficient. You can really tell the difference between somebody who's got good technique and is really smooth versus somebody that's just gutting through, which is entertaining to watch, but there's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, particularly this episode, you definitely see the contrast of the two.
Yeah. And the next guy was absolutely, completely took me by surprise. This Caleb Watson, a dairy farmer. Just,
oh my God.
this guy.
I love this guy.
I thought he was purely a character. Like, he really seemed like one of those ones that he wasn't going to get very far. But this guy was crazy fast. Like, he just raced through the whole thing.
Yeah, it was weird, right? Because he was funny and everything. I was like, I definitely see why we have a video of him. And then, like, just like after the pipe slider, man, he like kicked it in like onto notch 9, dude. This guy started flying through these obstacles. I'm like, whoa, oh, okay. And he just like kept going faster and faster. I was scared. I'm like, is he going too fast? But his technique was still okay. And boy, man, this guy, I think he's going to be fun. I can't say how far this guy's going to go, but I think we're definitely going to have some good times watching him run through these courses.
Yeah, for sure. He ended up beating Craver's time, so he had the fastest time, I believe, at that point. It was absolutely
Who
crazy.
saw that coming?
Yeah. Yes.
Boy.
Really, really entertaining to see. And then we had the complete reverse. Somebody that we thought for sure would be going through, seemed like a no-brainer. They even played up, his training regimen and everything. JJ Woods totally surprised me. They got me. I went out on the Big Dipper.
That was crazy, dude. Why do I keep calling Big Dipper Pipe Slider? Like people are going to be so annoyed with me halfway through this episode. I just realized it's called the Big Dipper. I've been calling it Pipe Slider this whole time. I feel for JJ Woods, man, because you train all that time. You can definitely tell he takes this particular thing seriously. I'm curious if he still trains with Flip Rodriguez now that Flip's in LA. But, man, that's got to be heartbreaking, doing all that training and you fail on that second obstacle, man. That sucks.
Yeah, he seemed to take it pretty well. He seemed to just kind of shrug it off as like, well, yeah, next year I'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, he's got other things in his life to do, at least.
Yeah, that's great when they can do that. I mean, you kind of have that contrast, and it's funny because he's, good friends with Flip, because Flip definitely doesn't take it quite so lightly, or doesn't seem to.
Oh, no. And,
yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to see the contrast between the two.
Yeah, I mean, another part is just keeping it together, it's kind of a shock of the moment. You have to imagine he's got to be really disappointed, and I feel for the guy. That's got to really be hard.
Yeah, so that left 2 runs left for the night. We had James McGrath and Drew Dreschel, and they really played up the whole odd couple thing with those two.
I knew they were, like, buds and everything. I didn't know they were, like, straight up, like, best friends, BFFs, like, all that close, man. That was cool to see. We need more of these, like, videos of them just hanging out.
Yeah, I think they've posted a few on their road trip, and they did do that a bit last year, too, because I remember, what was it? Drew was making, like, milkshakes with like gummy bears in it or something crazy, some kind of candy.
That's right. Oh, I totally forgot about that. That's right. Oh, I love these guys so much. And I'm glad they have this because I remember a few seasons ago, I think everybody was getting really upset about like just them not showing James McGrath enough, I really I'm glad that both of these guys have kind of like a way of like just showing off their personalities even more.
Yeah, so James did well, pretty solid, not quite as fast as I thought he would be going through. He struggled a bit on the pipe fitter, but he did make it through with a good time. Mm-hmm. So then it was just a matter of, what Drew are we going to see? Because last year he was a little conservative overall, right? He seemed to take his time wanting to make sure he didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like he found a happy medium this year, right?
A little bit. I felt like it was the old Drew, actually, more than anything. I don't know if it was even in the middle. He was flat out, not reckless, but just smooth and controlled and fast.
Oh, yeah. He was definitely fast. I could say that. The guy... He's always fast. I felt like he was a little bit more conservative or careful at the pipe fitter, and I understand why. That's definitely a new obstacle, particularly for him. And you can tell that when it comes to new obstacles, he doesn't want to mess it up. I feel like he knows what obstacles he can go fast on and what obstacles he needs to take his time with. And that's another thing where I really love to see from Ninja Warriors. And
that was it. Our Palm Wonderful run of the night. We had Drew's run right at the end, so that still doesn't tell me if that means the last run's always going to be the Palm Wonderful, but I'm watching it. I'm watching you, Palm Wonderful.
So, Rich, I think it'd be fun for us to like choose every episode one person that we think is going to go like super far, definitely to Vegas in the very least, right? My pick, we all know, is going to be Kenneth. I'm not even going to say his last name, Kenneth, from this episode. Who do you think, now that we've recapped it all, who do you see as going pretty far this episode? And you can't choose my pick, man. Don't be cheating.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the dairy farmer, man. Like, that guy was crazy fast.
Dairy farmer.
He was so funny.
Hey, that's a good pick.
He's a great guy, man. I really want to see him go far. I'm really rooting for him. Even if it's a crazy pick, I still want to see him go through to Vegas.
I can't blame you on that one, man. That guy was really fun. And look, he went so fast this episode. I mean, he's got to be more proficient than he let off, or what he's shown. So I definitely see him going far too.
All right, so that is it for the show review. We do have a couple more topics. First one being the crashing the course, which we were a little iffy on this last time. We weren't sure if we were going to like this one as much, but actually I really like this pipe fitter episode.
Yeah, it really gave a lot of insight, especially by how many different versions of the obstacle they had. And isn't that crazy, man? I mean, they didn't even finalize what the obstacle was until basically the day where they filmed, right?
Yeah, that's a little nuts when you think about it, to be like tweaking it that late in the game, but whatever, it works.
Yeah, I guess, man. And it's also cool because I think this is the first time we've ever gotten to see just how they show off the obstacles to all of the competitors there and, reveal the rules. And I didn't know that they also have like a prolific ninja warrior that's not necessarily running that particular in that particular area show off the obstacle.
Oh, really?
That was really cool. I like that.
You were a little late getting to the taping, weren't you? For when you went to the LA.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because they did that at the qualifiers. They ran them through. Actually, I thought it was interesting that everybody else got to see what I got to see as they kind of stepped through and demonstrated the obstacles and everything. Yeah, which I probably should have mentioned when I was talking about the whole thing. Now that I think about it, but no, it was really interesting to see them do that. They do have demonstrations, and it was exactly the same as I saw them do.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I loved seeing it. That's really cool. And I would love to be a fly on the wall, just seeing all of the different athletes just, comment and like try to figure out different ways of going about every obstacle, Everybody's like in their mind, they've got to be just like commenting on all these different ways of doing it. I would love to hear it.
I mean, it was a little contrived. I mean, it was obviously a setup, right? Alex is taking pictures and they forced him to get up and try it.
Oh, well, yeah, that was
obviously staged. But then when I thought about it, it's staged, but not, right? Because he still has to get up and do it in front of all the ninjas and everything. He still has to try this obstacle, which, this really difficult new obstacle. And he did okay. I really like Alex. I have to say, I find him engaging. I think he's doing a really good job with these videos.
Yeah, he's really engaging with the camera, I like him, and I think we'll appreciate him more the more we see of him later on in this series, It's definitely, a progress, a time progress of us getting used to him.
Yeah, and it's funny because the first video has like hundreds of thousands of views, and this new one has very, very few, so I don't know if people didn't like the first one and aren't giving it a chance, but if you feel that way, if you watch the first video and you're like, man, I don't really need to see these, check this one out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think it was a lot better. Yeah,
but always premiere things, anything dealing with a premiere is always going to have higher numbers. Which is interesting also, just a small little thing. They're about to switch up the days, dude. I don't know about that. That might have some severe consequences with the viewership of the show. I know they're going back to the days or the particular day of the week where it always films, but I question why they were having it airing these first 2 weeks on Wednesdays, man. I don't know if that was a good idea.
Oh, it's brutal. So, yeah, that's a really good point, something we should mention at the beginning of the whole podcast. I don't know if everybody realizes next week it isn't on Wednesday, it's on Monday.
And it's going to stay that way, right?
As far as I know, unless they jumble it around for the Olympics and stuff, we'll see.
Oh, that is not a good... Like, anybody that follows, like, Amazing Race or any of these other high-profile shows, the moment you change the day that the show goes on, you basically almost cut your viewer audience in half. And for a show that's like going on the upswing, it's a really bad idea for NBC to do this. Luckily, it just happened. It was just the first 2 episodes that were on a different day. So maybe the show will find its audience back. But I'm really worried that NBC might freak out by seeing next week's viewership. And it might be a lot lower than they were expecting. And I hope they don't freak out by that, because I think the more the summer goes on, the more it will find its audience back.
Oh yeah, they'll find it. Ninja Warrior is not just a show; it's an obsession, right? So they'll get them back.
Yeah. Luckily, most fans of the show are definite fans, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the other video that they put out this week was the 24 before, which I am a huge fan of. I can't wait to see what other ninjas they picked for this. So last week we had Natalie Duran, and this week we have Neil Craver. We had to see 24 hours in the life of Neil Craver. What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I honestly think I'm going to enjoy all of these. It's so... I just love everything about this particular series. It's so fun to watch. One thing that stood out to me, did you see how many supplements this guy takes? Like, what the hell is going on with that?
That is insane. Like I don't even know what some of those things were that he listed. I'm sure you probably have some idea, but it was like, what? Wait, you're taking something for your joints and something for... I don't even know what it all was.
Man, I thought I was crazy with the supplements. I take about like 5 supplements, but it's only when I work out, right? Like... He had damn near, like, he almost had a pharmacy on his counter, right? Like, and I'm not saying, like, drugs and all this stuff. Like, they're definitely supplements, vitamins and stuff. But just the sheer amount was just crazy to me. But, you don't get a body like that at 35 for, like, doing nothing,
Yeah, he was spray painting his shoes, which...
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest spray painting anybody's shoes. That's not a good idea.
It just seemed like an odd thing to be doing just before you go, I guess. But I guess it would rub off otherwise if you did it ahead of time. Like, why wouldn't you just buy... I mean, I guess his costume's like...
that particular brand... He said that particular shoe doesn't come in gold.
Oh, that's right, and the shoes would be... It's more important that the shoes are the comfortable ones that... Rather than the aesthetics of it aren't as important as how good they are. So yeah, fair enough.
I will say shoes are incredibly important to any obstacle course racing.
Okay, what about the ice bath and hot bath? Is that a thing, or are they just pulling our leg?
No, that's a thing. That's definitely a thing. I don't know about obstacle course racing, but it's definitely a thing with like athletes and different stuff. I think it's something that he tried. Definitely when you're going in hard training, right? An ice bath really completely soothes out all of your muscles. So you pretty much have like zero fatigue and your muscles are almost replenished. And the warm bath kind of like soothes it out, smooths it out because your muscles really tighten. Just imagine the prospect of like putting an ice pack on like a bruised leg or something, and then like warming it up, but just doing that with your entire body, with all of your muscles. It really makes a difference. With that said, I mean, I don't know if you have to go that crazy level of preparation for Ninja Warrior, but who knows? Maybe he really trained hard that day before.
Well, he did go to Ninja Corps, right? He did go there to try some obstacles and work out his nerves a bit and stuff, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he went vegetarian as well for Ninja Warrior to be as strong as he can be, which I get it for, getting lean, but going vegetarian to get stronger sounded a little odd to me.
It's weird, but I can't really comment on it. I'm definitely not a vegetarian, so I don't know. I love my meat, I am on a straight protein diet, so I'm kind of the opposite.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, isn't that typically a thing, right? You wouldn't be protein loading, and I don't know. I have no idea.
I'd expect, but the same boat. I wouldn't know. I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners would know. So just reach out to us. Keep us updated, because... Yeah, you probably sound incredibly dumb right now.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. There are some vegetarians out there listening right now that are like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's true. We absolutely do not. So feel free to correct us.
Yeah. Definitely that route, I do not know.
Yeah. So it was really interesting seeing him in a more toned down state overall, just kind of getting mentally prepared and just working out his nerves and everything. I thought that was really, really interesting, and I really look forward to seeing who's next week.
Yeah, and shout out to his girlfriend. She was incredibly supportive. I was really impressed. Cool lady.
Yeah, they're doing acro yoga together. Like, there's that acro yoga back again. See, I don't even know. Still don't really know what it is. I just know that's what everybody seems to be doing. So,
Hatha yoga. There's aerial yoga. There's sauna yoga. There's so many yogas out here.
And the next thing we wanted to cover was this, and I had no intention of really covering it when I first watched it. I was just interested on seeing it. Was a Ninja Quickie from Evan Dollard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Evan puts out these videos. He had one with Jesse last week, which I almost included then because it was really good. So if you get a chance, check it out too. But this one with Drew Dreshel was too good to pass up. It's basically a race between Evan Dollard and Drew Dreshel.
Yeah, it was fun times, man. I actually, I was expecting Drew to win, and go fast. I was so impressed by Evan Dollard. I don't know how you feel, man, but I was like, whoa, this dude is going ham on this course. And that course, I really enjoyed that kind of camaraderie and just, the fun competition that they had. I loved it.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. Evan killed it on the slack line. He did that faster than Drew. There was no competition there. He really raced along that slack line like I haven't seen anyone do.
Yeah, and Evan's leaned out, man. I hope he comes back. I know he did Team Ninja Warrior. I don't know why he's not doing American Ninja Warrior as much. Maybe it's the whole thing because he's affiliated with the show. I don't know.
Maybe it had a conflict with Spartan because he's one of the commentators for that, right? So, scheduling.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Yeah, that might have a lot to do with it as well.
But yeah, I laughed. He lost his shoe partway through. It just kept running. Drew's reverse salmon ladder technique, that seems awesome to me. I like that. It seems like it would be more steady and reliable compared to the normal way people do it.
Yeah, it's fun. I want to try it sometime. It looks incredibly tough on your forearms, but if you have it, man, definitely, I can definitely see why it'd be more technically sound to do, especially if you have that transition later on.
He seemed a little shaky at first. I was worried he was going to fall, but he did. He went back into his normal speed demon mode and then starts doing the muscle ups on those bars to finish the whole thing off. It was absolutely awesome.
Just to show off,
Yeah, just to rub it in a little bit. I get a little extra time. Why not use it? Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about is something that just came up. So user Goon29 on Twitter, and his name is Artie. Thank you, Artie. Tweeted out a picture of them putting together Mount Midoriyama in Vegas as he was doing his morning run and listening to our podcast. So it kind of made me think, where does everyone listen to the podcast? What are you seeing when you're listening, and what are you doing? So I kind of put together a little, not really a contest, because what I'm thinking is, rather than offering up a draw where only one person gets something, I thought it would be kind of cool to offer up something small and personal that I can do for everyone. So if you take a picture or a video of yourself, your location, or whatever's going on at the time you're listening to us, either tweet it out or post up an Instagram and tag us in it. And if you send us your mailing address, you can email it to us at rich@ninjapodcast.com or message us any other way you like. Send us your mailing address, and I'll send you a personalized postcard to thank you for listening to us.
Well, what's our Instagram if you want them to tag them?
Yeah, so it's Ninja Podcast. Everything we do is Ninja Podcast. It's really easy to find us. NinjaPodcast.com, @NinjaPodcast. The Twitter's Ninja Podcast. Tumblr. I don't know how we managed to get it, frankly, but we do have Ninja Podcast everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, makes it easy.
It definitely does.
So a lot of people, and the great thing about podcasts is people will be listening to this for a while. People are still listening to episodes. The first episode that we recorded, or I recorded last August, and I'm horrified that they're listening to it, but whatever. People listen to this for quite some time. So if you're listening to this and it's still 2016, I'll extend this right to the end of the year. So if you're listening to it, it's 2016. You can still do it, and I will send you a postcard from exotic and lovely Canada.
That is all you, man.
Yeah, I might be a little crazy. We're not exactly, if we go viral at some point, I might have to kind of put an end to it. I don't think we're in any danger of that right now. So that is it for this week. Just as a reminder, we do have affiliates for the show. If you would like to order something from Onnit, or if you are a regular customer already, come by our website, ninjapodcast.com. Click on the link for Onnit, and they'll kick us a little bit back from that for sending traffic their way. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can reach us at rich@ninjapodcast.com. We are on Twitter. That's @ninjapodcast. We are on Instagram and Facebook as well. Everywhere, as we said, is Ninja Podcast.
Except for me.
Except for Bijan. Bijan, what is your Twitter account again?
It's @Bijan, BIJAN 151. And special thank you to everybody that reached out to me this past week, talking to me, and giving me all the compliments. It's really cool hearing from you guys.
That's great. So, once again, thank you all for listening, and we do hope you have a great week.
Deuces.